26 days and still waiting. A South African aid package for Palestinian refugees remains grounded at Johannesburg International Airport. The 5 million rand aid package includes medical equipment and water purification tablets for thousands of needy Palestinians. Renee Horn, who travelled to the West Bank with cameraman Vikash Sitaram, compiled this report.
Military tanks, a common sight in West Bank cities. The war rages on and both sides continue to suffer. The purpose of our trip, to track the aid package from the Johannesburg International Airport to the West Bank. After almost 2 months of preparation and waiting from the Israelis, we eventually left Johannesburg with the expectation that the aid would follow a day later. We were accompanied by a South African delegation.
We can only help, encourage and give the South African experience, which at the worst of times never allowed the talks to break down and continued talking even while the so-called black on black violence.
First up was Palestinian President Yasser Arafat's battered headquarters in Ramallah. Israeli troops are prominently stationed here. Being inside Yasser Arafat's headquarters was an eerie experience. It was a ramshackle building, totally unlike a presidential abode. His bodyguards were sleeping on the floor. Inside the quarters, we had to erase parts of our footage for security reasons. Outside, a barricade of cars provided a protective shield. There was no sign of life in Ramallah, even though the weekend was around the corner. The area's been under curfew, disrupting work schedules and leaving families without money, food, medical supplies.
No work, no money, it's no good, no life.
She can't come here to Jerusalem. She told me I can talk to her at the phone. She told me that she has no food.
Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, life continues. Here, Jews and Muslims live separately. There's a yearning for peace, but there's a general lack of trust.
We've reached out in peace to the Palestinian people, and we've been returned with terror and all sorts of suicide bombings, and that makes us wonder whether the other side really wants peace.
And if you look at the street, there is nobody. This is the famous street, Salahuddin. At this moment, there will be a lot of people. But look, economic is very bad, you know. So everybody there is suffering from both sides.
Nelson Mandela is a household name, and South Africans often face many questions about the former president. In the Israeli capital, Tel Aviv, the effects of the war are less visible. It's Friday, the start of the weekend. Both Palestinians and Israelis turn out for the annual gay parade. The carnival atmosphere is a stark contrast to the West Bank. There's a dire need for medical supplies in many hospitals, but there's still no sign of the package from South Africa. Israeli authorities blame the delay on documentation problems. However, some believe it's a delaying tactic.
Israelis themselves have mentioned that they receive aid from South Africa, which to them is a friendly country. They say that clearance takes 2 to 4 weeks only. 8 weeks have passed since we have given them the paperwork.
For us, there were other pressing problems. We were granted media accreditation by the Israelis, but were turned back from most checkpoints. Eventually, we resorted to using back roads. On leaving Israel, we were stopped at Ben Gurion Airport. All luggage was searched, and the SABC's laptop editor was temporarily confiscated. We were questioned relentlessly and body searched. Having had a taste of life in the Middle East, I realized that I am lucky to be living in a free country without restrictions, barricades and curfews. Renee Horn, SABC, Durban.